Hello and welcome everyone, my name is DMC, bringing you version 0.30 for Paragon. Got some pretty interesting stuff in this patch, and the first thing they've got here is the Grux new skin. This thing looks awesome. Ruby skin for Grux, and now we've also got a skin for Iggy and Scorch, the Fireball skin, and Gideon got an Inquisitor skin, looking also pretty cool. They also had some big changes for Gideon. They changed his cosmic rift. Now it's one giant meteor flying through the sky, and they have like a GIF image on here on the blog page. I'll send a link for it. It looks pretty awesome, guys. And it's actually a pretty good buff for him because now they've made it so all the damage, it says it's a front load damage. I think what that means is it's all going to be just one shot instead of damage over time. So that is a pretty big buff for him, and the image again looks pretty awesome. It says they've done some adjustments to Hydroverser and Trader's Touch, and I know that those are two cards that were a little bit, people were kind of divided on. Sometimes people found a way to make them work, but a lot of times people said they weren't really very useful, but they did give those some changes, so I'll let you guys know about that. It says they have updated the page for the store, and they fixed some bots issues not targeting enemies. They've got some Agora updates. They updated some collision around Agora to prevent AI from getting stuck. Fixed a bug where missing geometry collision allows heroes to fall through the map, so that is a big one. I've definitely fallen through the map several times in V29, so hopefully that will actually be fixed. Now for cards, this is an interesting one right here. I thought I was pretty clever when I used to do this, but apparently it wasn't intended. For consumables, the starter health and mana potions and the rare potions with the same regen type can no longer be activated at the same time. So sometimes what I did do is I would take two different health potions, and then if I got into a fight I would activate them both at the same time, which would give me some pretty crazy regen. I thought that was a pretty clever move, but apparently that was not intended. Now for the Hydroverser, they increased the damage based on your current mana from 5% to 7%. So a lot of people found this card to be very, very marginal already, and a few people were able to really base their whole deck around it and use it. But who knows, maybe that 2% jump will be enough to make it worth putting in more people's decks. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now for Trader's Touch, they reduced the passive damage based on enemy players' current health. It was 5%, now it's 3%. So again, I think it's good that they're making these kind of incremental changes to get it closer to where they want it to be, rather than over buffing and over nerfing things and then having to go back. So those changes may not be enough, but it's good that they're just kind of taking it step by step, in my opinion. Fixed a bug with Battle Mantra that would allow it to fill up the status bar with icons that persisted. Added a new decal for Stasis Gem to better highlight use of the cards to other players, and fixed incorrect visual effects for Order and Fury potions. Now for matchmaking, they improved quick chat description in the draft lobby when selecting any lane role. That's good. Good to have a little bit more communication. One thing I'd like to see is actually a bit more time during the draft. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't want that, but it would be nice to have more time to communicate with your teammates to organize your team, especially on PS4 where you don't have a keyboard and it takes quite a while to type out a message. They also fixed a bug where players could sometimes fail to get their hero if they locked in too quickly. Didn't know about that, but it's good that they fixed it. Now for HUD and UI, updated the loading screen art to be consistent. Not sure what they mean by that. I didn't have any problem with the loading screen art. Fixed a missing sound effect in the main menu. Okay. PS4 players not having suggested players list if they have more than 100 PSN friends. I wonder if I have that bug. I've got more than 100 friends, I don't know. Fixed PSN invitation error when PC player is promoted to leader of the party. I think it's great that they're doing crossplay in this game. It's really awesome. I wish more games would do it. And the queue times are awesome, so very happy with them on the whole crossplay thing. Fixed a bug where the incorrect emote animations were looking at Feng Mao and Grux or Sparrow's Master Challenge trees, and channeling card abilities will block players from entering the shop. That's something else I thought was kind of a interesting move. Try to activate a card and then go into the shop and sell it quickly. Apparently you can't do that anymore. Audio. Fixed a bug where looping audio sometimes persists in Agora. Have you guys noticed this? I noticed it on Murdoch. Sometimes when I put his traps down, all I can hear is the trap just like buzzing really loud in my ear. I don't know if it's meant to be that way, but maybe this is what they fixed. Fixed a bug that would allow audio from victory animations to continue after the porting out. Not sure what they mean by that. New music during loading screens. Okay, fair enough. That may cause it to take longer to load though, but alright. Heroes. All heroes affected by movement speed steroids, Muriel's Alacrity, or Gadget's Speed Gate now have attacked visual effects. Cool. Drecker, sprint mode animations have been adjusted. Interesting that sprint mode is still in the game. I was expecting them to take it out. Gadget, seek and destroy can no longer be interrupted once it's activated. Now Gideon, a lot of changes for Gideon here. The Inquisitor Gideon skid added to the game looks pretty good, not too bad, not too bad. Not as awesome as the Grux one, but still pretty good. Torn Space, the distance teleported is now reflected in the tooltip. Cosmic Rift area of effect has been reduced, and all ability damage applied in one meteor impact, no adjustment to the total damage. So that is interesting. I do think that's a buff for him though. And the meteor visualization changed to match the new gameplay. It's going to be pretty cool. Burden, movement slow is now reflected in the tooltip. Black hole initial cast time reduced from 1 second to 0.5 seconds, so again another buff for Gideon. And they fixed an issue where Gideon could charge sprint during Burden's tether period, and fixed an issue where Gideon could teleport through environmental geometry using torn space. So glad they fixed that. And sound effects added for recall, taunt, and level start animations. So good stuff. A lot of these fixes are just really like small stuff that they're just kind of polishing, adding in extra stuff just to get the game more ready for launch. Greystone. Killing the Prime Guardian with the damage from Reforged now properly awards Greystone with the Orb Prime buff. See, a lot of these fixes are pretty minor stuff, which is a good sign. That means they've got a lot of the major stuff out of the way. Again, they've added the Ruby Scarab Grux skin, which I think it looks pretty awesome. Normally I'm not too into skins, but I might pick that one up. I don't know how much it costs, but I would like to have that one because it looks pretty awesome. Alright, Fireball, Iggy, and Scorch added, also pretty cool looking. And they fixed an issue where turrets could deal slightly more damage than reflected in the tooltip. Sorry, Iggy players. Added sounds to recall, taunt, and level start animations. Kalari, they improved the targeting of nearby enemies for her death sentence, and the movement slow is now reflected in the tooltip for Crippling Dagger. A lot of these tooltip updates. Chimera, improved targeting of enemy players for ambush. Now, I'm not exactly sure what they mean by this, but I have seen where I've jumped on a player with the ambush, definitely hit him directly, and it didn't do any damage. He just walked away from it. So that may be what they're talking about, but we'll have to see how that plays out. And they also fixed an issue which prevented ambush and call from targeting heroes in the shadow plane who were visible to Chimera. Now, I do think I've had that issue. Murdoch, updated long arm of the laws. Sound effects, okay, fair enough. I do think it's too loud right now. It's definitely too loud. I also think the music is too loud. Not really the loud, but the sound when you first load a game. It's too loud, so possibly that's what they're doing. Muriel, consecrated ground cooldown has been reduced by 2 seconds at all levels. So it was 18, 17, 16, 15. Now it is 16, 15, 14, 13. So a little buff for her. Reversal of Fortune, improved targeting of nearby allies, and no longer targets teammates that are in the process of recalling. So that is an interesting change. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. I don't really play Muriel. Maybe you guys can let me know. Alright, Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy can now be cancelled by reactivating the ability. That's good. Movement slow is now reflected in the tooltip. Again, a lot of tooltip updates. And Severog no longer leaves a lingering effect after death. It's lingering. Oh, guys, there's a lingering. I think Severog was here. I don't know what they mean by that. But, Sparrow. Bug fix and polish added sounds to recall, taunt, and level start animations. Alright, so we got some bug fixes here. Fixed an issue where player movement blocks were not respected upon disconnect and reconnect. Player movement blocks. I don't know what they mean by that, but I have noticed that when I get disconnected, which is pretty often in version 29, when I come back, I'm at base. So I don't know if that means that when you come back, you'll be where you were before you got disconnected, or I'm not sure what they mean by that, but that's what they said. Player movement blocks were not respected upon disconnect and reconnect. Yo, you respect me. Alright, fix some rare cases where a PS4 player would fail to join a party after accepting an invite from a PC player. And fixed a bug where a user would run out of memory while scrubbing in a replay. I have been thinking that, I'm not a programmer, but I have been thinking that this game seems like it might have a memory leak, because it feels like the longer I play the game, or especially when I try to watch replays, it crashes a lot. At first it starts slowing down, it starts stuttering, and then it always crashes. So I'm wondering if possibly they do have some memory leaks in this game. Fixed an issue where the carried buffs were becoming black in lower quality settings. I guess that's only for PC. Projectiles, jungle buffs, and other placed abilities no longer show up during the endgame cinematic. Fixed a bug where during the end of the match cinematic, it would allow Greystone's camera animation to play once the game was over. And fixed for players not appearing on a scoreboard in replays of games they played in. So this is a very good one. I watch replays a lot, and I find that a lot of times my character is missing from the scoreboard. I have to switch to him to see what my KD is. So that's pretty cool if they fixed that. And fixed ability screen FX on movements abilities, addressing visibility inconsistency. I have no idea what they mean by that, but if this video helped you out, guys, go ahead and click that like button. Also subscribe for more videos, and also for an invite, because I do play live every week during the week, and sometimes I play with subscribers, so it'd be awesome to have you guys there with me. I definitely need some good teammates. Thanks so much for watching. My name is DMC, and I'll see you all in the next video.